we want each of our employees to have a safe and healthful work experience. That is what this program is all about. For the next few minutes, we want to outline your safety responsibilities and the procedures you must follow on every job, every day. Although you will receive additional training at the client location, it is important that you are aware of what your responsibilities are and what steps you can take to prevent accidents and injuries. We take safety seriously and expect you to do the same. Whether you work in an office, a factory, or a construction site, we believe every assignment can be performed safely. If you don't think it's safe, we don't want you to do it. Never take shortcuts or risks. If at any time you are unsure about the safety of a particular job or action, stop and ask your client supervisor or contact your staffing consultant. Each workplace is different, so be sure you know your area and be familiar with potential hazards that may be present. Keep your work area neat, clean, and organized at all times. Obey all posted warning signs and labels. They are for your protection. Loose or baggy clothes, rings, jewelry, or unprotected long hair may be dangerous around machinery and should not be worn. If your job requires you to wear personal protective equipment such as hard hats, gloves, goggles, safety glasses, or work shoes, then that is the thing to do. Heavy items should not be lifted without assistance. If the item is too heavy, ask for help. But keep in mind, when you lift anything that can be handled safely, use the following method. The key is to keep the product that needs to be lifted in the power zone, which is between your knees and shoulders. This is sometimes done by elevating product and not overstacking. Place your feet close to the object, about a shoulder's width apart. Get a firm grip on the object. Bring the item close to your body and stand. Never twist while lifting and avoid stretching or reaching. If you're carrying an item, make sure you can clearly see where you're going and never carry items up or down stairs. All ladders should be inspected before each use. If you notice dented or bent rails, loose or missing rungs, or other damage, do not use the ladder. Notify your client supervisor so that it can be repaired or replaced. Always use the proper ladder for the job. Don't use boxes, chairs, or other makeshift platforms. Never climb on shelving or warehouse racks. Never sit on or lean against a ladder. And never use a metal ladder near electricity. Always face the ladder and use the handrails when climbing or descending. Never try to carry tools or other items up or down a ladder. The first rule is to never use any tools, machinery, or equipment unless you've been trained and authorized to do so by your client supervisor. Never attempt to repair or clear a jam from any equipment you are using. Report the problem to your client supervisor so it can be repaired by authorized personnel. Before you use a power tool or equipment, inspect the cord and plug to ensure that they're in good shape and free from cuts, cracks, or exposed wires. Always use the proper tool for the job. Some machinery you work with is equipped with guards that protects operators from dangerous moving parts. Never remove, bypass, or disable these guards for any reason. If a guard is damaged or missing, do not operate the equipment. Notify your client supervisor. Know the location of all emergency stop buttons before you begin work. If the machine malfunctions, every second counts when your safety is concerned. Some machines may need to be de-energized for repair or maintenance. In these instances, the equipment will be identified by a lockout or tagout notification. Only authorized personnel are allowed to remove a lock or tag from a power supply. Remember, never attempt to start a machine or piece of equipment that is locked or tagged out. Forklifts or other material handling equipment are off limits and should never be used unless you have been properly trained and certified. Stay alert when walking in areas around forklifts. They have blind spots and the driver may not be able to see you. If you're using a hand truck, keep your hands away from the sides of the truck to avoid pinching or crushing your fingers or hands. If your job requires you to work with or around chemicals, you need to be familiar with the properties of and the potential hazards associated with these chemicals. Always read the label before using any chemical, and wear any required personal protective equipment. You can find additional information about the chemicals you work with on the Material Safety Data Sheets. The Material Safety Data Sheets will be available at the client location. Know the location of all emergency showers and eye wash fountains before you begin to work. If a chemical spill or leak occurs, notify your client supervisor immediately so it can be properly controlled and cleaned up. If you're asked to perform a job that requires the use of a respirator or self-contained breathing apparatus, please notify your staffing consultant. Know the location of the emergency exits and severe weather shelter nearest you. Your client supervisor will instruct you if there is a need to evacuate the building or take shelter. If an evacuation is called, be sure to leave the building quickly, but in a calm and quiet manner. Go directly to your assigned designated outside meeting area and stay clear of the emergency until you are properly directed to change locations. If you need to take shelter, follow the same rules and remain in the shelter area until the all clear is given. Fire prevention is another important topic. Make sure you do not create a fire hazard. Smoke only in designated areas and be sure to keep paper or other flammable products to a minimum in your work areas. In the event of a fire, leave the area immediately and notify your client supervisor. Don't take chances. Do not attempt to put out a fire. Never enter any confined space such as a manhole, pit, or large truck. Never climb into or enter any ceiling. Never enter any trench or excavation without first notifying your staffing consultant. Every injury, no matter how minor, must be reported to your client supervisor and staffing consultant immediately. Proper medical attention will be provided if it is needed. All on-the-job accidents and injuries are investigated, and a drug screen may be required. Once more, our goal is to provide each of our employees with a safe and healthful working environment. But your safety on the job is really up to you. If you have questions about the safety of your job or the equipment you work with, stop and ask your supervisor. You are ultimately responsible for your own safety. Don't take chances. Make the right choice by working safe every day. Thank you.